We're going to get you started with the embroidery part of the Topaz 20 sewing machine. So first off, there was a couple things that came in your box when you first opened it. This little key, the red part, does need to be pulled out of the underneath side of the embroidery unit. So this clip is right here. Once you squeeze it and remove it, you really can throw it away. But you can't embroider without taking that out. So check number one. Next, there is a quick guide for both the sewing side and the embroidery function. So this is great to kind of have close by as we go through some of the different buttons and how they are used on the embroidery side, which is different than the sewing side. So we'll again keep that close by. You must have your USB stick. This stick comes with your machine. You can use other USB sticks. They're only a 1 gig, so try not to get a USB stick that's too big, but you can use other ones. Honestly, I put designs on here, and when I am done using them, I delete them, so there's not a long list of designs I'm trying to sort through to find the ones for the current project. So have that close by. We're going to show you how to wind a bobbin, get threaded, which foot to use, and we'll put some embroidery needles on. I always have my curved embroidery scissors. These are my favorite. Lately, from Kai Sewing, the scissors that are curved and sharp and wonderful. So your 2 hoops that come with your machine. Now, one thing nice about Husqvarna Viking, there are lots of other hoop sizes down even smaller than this one, and every hoop has a number on it. So you'll see right here, this one is 120 by 120. Those are millimeters, approximately 5 by 5 sewing field. The nice thing about the machine is it will tell you which hoop to put on for the size of design. It's also always best to use the hoop closest to the design size so you have smoother hooping and everything works out best. But for today, we are going to actually hoop up the larger hoop, and I'll show you how that one works. This is the one that also came with your machine, the 260 by 200. So this is the largest sewing field you can have. A couple things to note. Your bracket, this is the part that it slides onto the embroidery side. When we go to hoop our fabric, just always have that sitting off to the left side and then have this little clip opened up. This is a nice little quick release. Love this. So see if you have a hard time tightening this, once you get it set, you can just open and close really nicely. So today we actually are going to work on some cotton fabric. Now we'll go through a whole thing on stabilizers, but just a quick note, I always use 2 layers of stabilizer minimum. I will tell you, it always looks better. So if you're going to skimp with 1, well, it might not look as good. Always 2. This is tearaway stabilizer because this is a woven fabric. Use cutaway stabilizer for fabrics that are stretchy, like knits and sweatshirts, and then tearaway for woven fabrics, cottons, terry cloth, satins, silks. All those will often be just fine using a tearaway. Now, I do use one other little bit of insurance, and that would be a spray adhesive. Now, normally I do not spray near my machine. I'll usually have another area. There are different sprays out there. You're going to find that some are stinkier than others. This one is a new one from Metler. It's called Web Bond. It allows me to cheat a little bit because I can spray closer to my machine because it's a little bit more direct spray, and I actually kind of like it. I don't get stuff all over my machine. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to slide my hoops to the side, and I'm going to spray only my stabilizers. I'm going to spray that stabilizer and stick it to my other layer. And then I'm going to spray it again. Notice I'm not spraying my fabric. It's the last thing I want to spray. It's always a one-sided stick, so if I can spray my stabilizers and not my fabric, then the spray adhesive doesn't get on my fabric. Now the reason for this spray is so when I go to hoop this fabric up, it doesn't distort or stretch. So I'm going to just kind of tack it down. It's like a gigantic sticky note now. All right, so watch this. If I pull from corner to corner, see how the fabric doesn't stretch? That is what I'm looking for. I'm going to give that a little bit extra spray right there. Give it a good shake. There we go. And that should hold it enough for stitching. Now, if I am going to be doing fabric that I need to mark and place a center, the design needs to be exactly in the center, I use usually some type of fabric marker. Latest favorite is the Frixion pens because I can just iron this out and it just disappears. And then we would use the marks on the hoop to help get that straight. So big outside hoop goes down on your table. Notice I am actually standing for a reason. It's because I cannot hoop sitting down, nor should you. So it's a lot easier. So go ahead and just pick up your fabric and the outside hoop. See how it's all going with me? Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lean the top edge into the top part of the hoop. So these two corners are actually in. My hoop is very, very loose, and I can slide it off to the edge of the table and just kind of work that down. Now since the hoop is very loose here, and possibly needs to be a little bit looser here. I'm just loosening the screw. So I can go ahead and twist that on. Once I have that clipped in place, I can just go ahead and tighten the screw, and go ahead and tighten as far as your fingers will allow you to tighten. And then that will just be perfect. Now the last thing I tend to do is I take my fingers and kind of push the inside hoop just a little past flush back here. See how it's just going in? And what it's going to do is actually, if I don't, sometimes I get some loud rubbing, and also this kind of gives it one little extra kind of tighten all the way around. Now when I get over to the little part here, yes, you sometimes get a little pinch of stabilizer, no big deal, that's way down here in the corner, and everything else is nice and tight. Now we're not talking about you pulling the fabric tight, we're talking about the hoop is tight on the fabric. Our stabilizer, we always, when all possible, hoop your stabilizer with your fabric. Now there are times where we won't always be able to hoop our project, but when you do, I can say you're going to have a 100% chance of a guaranteed good looking design when you're done. So always try to get that done for that. Okay, so we're going to set our hoop aside, and let's talk about how we get everything attached. So next we're going to take our accessory box off the back of the machine. Set that aside. We've pulled out what we needed. There's also right back here behind the machine, there's a little door. Make sure that that is open. There's just a little flip and turn, and that will open that up. And then that will allow this part here to actually connect to the machine. So go ahead and select it. You can connect the machine while it's on, while it's in the sewing side. If you connect it when it's on, it'll just flip right on over to the embroidery side. And the first thing that always comes up when you turn it on is a calibrate embroidery unit note. Remove the hoop. So if you still have a hoop on, you need to take it off. Clear embroidery arm for calibration. That means make sure there's nothing around here, because as it moves, you don't want it bumping into something, including pets. Yes, we've had that happen. Snap on the embroidery presser foot. So we'll just touch OK, and you'll notice everything moves. And yes, there's kind of that last little grinding. That is correct. Now, since I haven't put my USB stick in, we're not going anywhere until this gets plugged into the side of the machine. So I'll reach over. We are plugged in. And then once we touch OK to go recognize that it's over there, then I can go into the designs that we're going to get started with. But next, we're going to go ahead and wind a bobbin and put an embroidery needle in and get everything set up.